Welcome to the Twigg and Jenkins podcast. We're your hosts, Twigg and Jenkins. That's Twigg. I'm Jenkins. This opening is going really well. It's like the last one I did. We're in Chicago.
Almost verbatim.
Just gonna do, that's the opening.
We are in Chicago.
That's the official opening now. We're in Chicago.
Yeah.
How are we feeling?
I'm a little worse for the wear. I'm a little dinged up. Not a ton of sleep.
Mm-hmm. You look great.
Not a ton of water.
You have water right next to you. You should get in there.
Right, I should.
You should get in there.
But yeah, great. It's been highs and lows so far in Chicago.
This has been an historic. Did I use that properly? Did I say it properly?
So far.
Historic few days. It's been a lot to process. I just want to do like a vibe check in general. Like, how are you feeling about, because it's hard to imagine like people from the outside, what they view this whole Chicago convention, what this feels like. I want to know how Carrie Twigg is feeling about the convention. Like, if you had to grade it.
Oh, the convention itself?
Mm-hmm.
I think the programming has actually been okay.
Mm-hmm.
The experience of the convention, and it's like, listen, I've been a staffer.
Yeah.
I understand that these things are hard.
Yeah.
This is so poorly
Yeah.
managed. Like,
Pretty
it's
bad.
kind of a disaster. It's kind of a disaster. It's shocking.
bad.
And it's so much of what everyone's talking about. Like, everyone's talking about how they're waiting in lines. No one knows where to go. Like, people are just hordes are wandering around. And then once you get in the arena, no one has anywhere to sit.
Yeah.
Like, it completely fills up. No one knows how you find, and it's really questionable. But I think the programming's been good. I think vibes are high. People are having
You're
fun.
trying your hardest.
I'm trying so
nice.
hard to be nice because it is challenging.
Be real though. People come look. If people want the milquetoast neolib version of what's going on,
How dare you call me a neolib?
No, I'm not calling you a neolib. I'm saying there are a lot of podcasts that can give that.
Yeah.
You know, like, let's keep it real. It's not been great.
Day one, I was waiting in line for our credentials.
Yeah, for hour and a half, 2 hours.
For like hour and a half, 2 hours. Yeah. Like, I was so annoyed. My eye started to twitch because I was trying so hard to keep my face from like expressing how I was feeling and trying to be patient in line. And the problem was, it's not even that there were so many people. You were just there was no progress being made.
Right.
Then at one point, a staffer came out and she was like, sorry, like, this is the first time we're doing this creator credential. And like, we had to like legally figure out how we were going to do the program. And so it took us a while. And it was just like, sis, hey, that has nothing to do with why we're in this line. Like, the legalities around credentials. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. You came out here and so yeah, it's not been great. And then last night we were in line for like 2 hours trying to get in, and people were pushing. I mean, it was wild. I ran into one of the homies from the Secret Service at the White House right after we'd been waiting in line.
What did he say?
He was just like, why would you wait in that line? Text me and I'll come and get you. Which was great. So tonight,
this is the other
tonight
challenge.
I'm sailing through.
There's two things competing with this, which is one, Twigg and I are privileged, which is to say, like, we're used to this. We've done these events.
Yeah.
We know what MAG setup looks like. We know what Secret Service looks like.
And how good it can go.
We know how good it can go. For so
massive events. And this is my 4th convention. Yeah. And I did an RNC. Like, this is really bad. It's actually quite bad.
The piece that I'm a little bit, well, how do I put this? I feel like the vibes are overtaking everything right now. Meaning, I think people are willing to deal with all of this shit because the vibes are so great. People are so excited for this moment. And I felt that when we were in the arena and there was no seats and it was such a shit show. Can you imagine if that's the way it was for Joe Biden?
Oh, it would have been so bad.
Do you know what I mean? So I think
there would have been fewer people.
I think people, well, that's the other part too. I think that they probably anticipated or did not anticipate this much enthusiasm.
But it's not as though they had to book a new venue. True. I mean, they still knew.
There's no reason why delegates were like waiting for 3 hours.
People were trapped on shuttles for like 3 hours.
There's no reason.
And there's all these group chains, right?
Yeah.
So you're on all of, like, there's all these WhatsApp groups. It's just like hell. Like, all hell's breaking loose. You're getting hundreds of messages of like, where are you? Where do I go? Why is this happening? It's a disaster. But it's fun.
It's fun. We're shitting. We're shitting on it. We're not.
I don't know that we should open with this.
No, let's go. I think it's good. I think people want to know the real talk. What I will say about the real talk, though, as well, is that the way that it looks on television, because I've been watching the way it looks on television, looks amazing. Because the theater or the arena is packed to the fucking gills. There's not a single empty seat, right?
Yeah.
For the television, it looks great. For the people in the arena, it sucks because there's not a single fucking seat in the arena. So,
and despite what Wisconsin would have you believe, there's no booze anywhere.
There's no booze. There's no booze. There is booze in the Creators Lounge.
Private events that are happening where you can get beers or wine or whatever. But
Twigg and I have a creator's credential, but they didn't let us in the lounge the first night. Did you see that?
Yeah. Well, apparently your friends over at Fox News were talking about how bad the Democratic convention was going because the arena was empty. But it was because everyone was stuck outside in security for the first few hours.
That's the other part. So,
but last night was bananas. The minute people found out Michelle, I mean, I think people were at Chicago. Barack Obama was speaking. That was really exciting. But then once Michelle was confirmed a couple days ago, I think that upped the level of interest.
The Obamas last night. So all of that aside, I would say the first day, if you had to give a grade, what would you give the grade?
Okay.
Let's be real.
I think one of my predictions held true, which is that the applause for Joe Biden was rapturous.
It was beautiful.
And long, and people were so, I mean, the chanting, I mean, man couldn't get a word out. And then, and I think Ashley's introduction of him was really beautiful. I thought it was really lovely. I think his speech was too long. And it wasn't, I don't know, I wanted more poetry, you know? I wanted more of a kind of a heartfelt message as opposed to like a really statistics-laden record of his accomplishments, which, you know, it's his speech. He can do what he wants with it. But sort of his last time on that big of a public stage, I would have loved to have seen a more sort of,
I agree,
heart forward offering.
I feel like since you work for President Biden, you're being a little bit nicer than I will be.
Do it. It wasn't good. It wasn't.
It was not good. It was not a good speech. I think that my feeling on it was that was the speech he was prepared to give as the president.
Yeah.
The speech was not about Kamala Harris, really. It could have been. It could have been a really short, beautiful speech about his personal story. Like, how many times have you heard his personal story? Scranton, his father, you know, this idea of like respect and love. And then that evolution to Kamala. It could have been a very beautiful little narrative thing. And instead, it just became a laundry list of accomplishments that no one gives a fuck about.
Yeah. No, it wasn't great. It wasn't great.
It was tough.
It was really tough.
It was tough. But last night was great.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Tell me how you felt about the Obamas in the arena. It was a moment.
It was
feeling it.
It was unbelievable. I mean, it was electric. It was unbelievable. It's amazing to watch the former First Lady, Michelle Obama, in such a different posture.
Yeah.
And you get it, right? It's like when you're representing your husband, your family, when you're the First Lady, you have to, like, there's a different tone and tact that you sort of have to have. Mm-hmm. And she came out last night and was just like, listen, had it with all of you. And she just felt so much more comfortable. She felt, it was sort of clear that she, you know, was willing to, she just wasn't pulling a single punch. It was amazing.
It was so weird.
And it was clear that she wasn't going to do it. I don't think she wouldn't have done it for President Biden.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I also think it felt like, and we can ask our girl JoJo and Crystal and others, it felt like she probably made the decision like pretty recently she was going to do it. And I think the reason why her speech was so much better than everyone else's, the biggest critique I'm getting from friends who are not like political people is that every speech by every person these first 2 nights could maybe be thrown into a ChatGPT generator.
Totally.
Like, what do I say at a Democratic National Convention?
Night 1 was so repetitive.
Every single person, every single speaker is saying the same thing.
Yeah, it really was.
So you could tell that there wasn't like thoughtfulness between the speech writing, the speakers. What are other people saying that I'm not saying? And it's not been great. The other thing I'll say is the Republican convention was way more entertaining. Way more entertaining.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
they're better at this.
And Dana White was doing it.
Dana White was doing it. You had Amber Rose. You had Hulk. I mean, there were some.
I tried to get Amber Rose to the 2016 convention for Hillary. I was trying to get VH1 to hire her as like a correspondent.
How did that go?
They didn't do it. But it could have changed the entire trajectory of Amber Rose's life in politics.
We just need to be better at this stuff. We're good at this. Look, the number of comedians, thought leaders, entertainers who know how to tell a story. And instead, we've just gotten boring ass ChatGPT speeches from every member of Congress. It's been bad. But then Michelle
from Texas, that was 2 nights ago, right? Homegirl from Texas nailed it.
Crockett.
Yeah, she was great. She was my favorite of Monday night.
She was by far the best on Monday night. Tuesday, but again, even the people that I love, it's just...
Who's been your best? Who's been your worst?
Number 1's Michelle, for sure.
Yeah.
The worst. Let's not do the worst. Harry Twigg wants me to get canceled. What's your worst?
That hasn't happened yet.
I mean, I'm being kind of mean, but like... It doesn't even play. You would think it was playing in the hall well. It's not even playing in the hall well either. No. People are bored through these speeches.
Well, there's a big differential. People can capture the room, and then it's sort of it's like it's a roller coaster. It's going up and down, and then everyone's looking for seats and alcohol.
My unexpected highlight before we get into Michelle and Barack was Doug.
Yeah, this is so tender.
I was texting some friends during Doug. I fucking love Doug's speech.
Yeah.
I love the intro to Doug's speech.
Yeah.
That video package
was probably
the
best video package of the whole
video package.
Yeah.
Because this is someone who no one really knows. And the way that he was able to, I don't want to say normalize, but like introduce Kamala and himself in a way that was so earnest, so fucking goofy, so lovely and sweet. Like I was like, we need more of that. Like we need more goofy, earnest vibes.
Yeah.
In the Democratic Party. He was so
I think
great.
We're gonna get him tonight. Tonight's Papa Walls.
So great. And then Ella's crying, like that visual I was watching on CNN because I was at the Second City preparing for our party. So I'm watching it and just the visual of him being his goofy self and his daughter being so proud.
Yeah.
Was a huge highlight. But wait, we got to get to Michelle. Were you in the arena during Michelle or were you on the way to the party yet? What was the timing?
I had just left.
You just left. Okay.
Which we said we weren't going to bring up. So that's cool.
I know. We Twigg and I were not going to lie to you guys.
We were not going to bring up that we had to leave.
Say that we had to leave the hall, but we have to be honest. Everyone knows we were throwing a party.
There's a difference between being honest and being transparent, though, right? It's like you don't have to tell everyone everything.
You know what? No.
But it's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
It was the best speech of the convention by far.
Yeah, so it was great we were there.
It was great that we were there. It was great that we were watching it on our iPhones. But here's the reason why it was so great. In comparison to everything I just said, ChatGPT speeches, Michelle Obama came out there like a G and just said everything that everyone has been thinking this whole time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Like, said it out loud.
Yeah.
Not canned, Donald Trump is this and Donald Trump is that. So she's like, no, this is where we're at right now.
And everybody got a piece.
And everyone got a piece.
I mean,
like 4 years ago,
she got some beef with a little bit of everybody, which was hilarious.
I saw a meme that was literally like, Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high. Michelle Obama now, fuck all you bitches. It's like very different vibes.
Very different vibes. Yeah, yeah.
It was good.
It was great. And then what do you think of President Obama?
So good. He looked great.
Looks great.
He looked tan.
Yeah. I could have taken 10 minutes off of that.
Yeah, way too
15
long.
minutes off of that.
Which I'm surprised by, because I figured, we talk about the iconic Obama speech, which was like 15, 16 minutes.
Yeah.
In my head, I'm like, oh, he's going to keep it short and sweet. He referenced that original speech a couple of times, which I loved.
So did you cry?
There were callbacks. I was crying the whole time. I'm in my hotel room trying to get changed. This is way too much information. Drinking an old-fashioned from the mini bar. Do you know the ones that are like the bottles?
Sure.
You know what I mean? And just watching and crying my eyes out. It was so good. Sean Boyle's texting me every 5 minutes, Brett, when are you going to arrive at the party?
Yeah.
Had to watch it live. It was beautiful, but...
Did you see the roll call?
No.
That so far was probably the liveliest moment in the arena.
I don't know. Tell me, what's the roll call?
Okay, so the purpose of a convention is for delegates that represent every state in the union to officially nominate and allot their delegate votes to the two candidates for president.
Yeah.
And then select the nominee to represent the party. And so you go through state by state and they announce that their delegates, the number of delegates they have, and that their delegates are
Got it.
Pledging themselves to Kamala Harris. And that's like what makes her officially the nominee of the party.
Right.
And state delegations pick the person who's going to speak on behalf of the state. Usually if there's a Democratic governor, the sitting governor, or like a former senator, or some sort of elected official, sometimes people will pick, like if it's a friend of someone or some sort of meaningful connection, sometimes it's like a little kid, like the youngest delegate at the convention or whatever. And there's some real lively, hot moments.
What was the best moment of the roll call?
Lil Jon. So they
was
got
this convention from 2000? What's happening here?
Right.
What are we doing?
Well,
here?
we're in a Y2K moment. But so they called Georgia, and then you want to take that or? No. They call Georgia, and then the arena goes black, and then all of a sudden Lil Jon comes out and just goes into Turn Down for What, and the whole arena just went bananas. And so we thought that was going to be the highlight.
We bring that. Is that still a thing? People still like that song? That's still relevant?
Well, Democrats who go to Democratic National Conventions.
Do we think Gen Z is watching this like, what is this?
No, I mean, maybe. I mean, who knows? But there's like, who is that man? Why is he shouting and running through the arena? And then, and shout out to field producer Brady for highlighting this, but the Wisconsin delegation had their cheese hats on. The governor has now received some internet fame for forgetting Kamala Harris's name.
No.
Yeah. So he started by naming all the sports teams, the Wisconsin sports teams.
There aren't many. It's like just the Packers. Who else we got?
The Bucks or the Black?
Oh, the Bucks, I guess.
This is like the hockey team. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sports. And he apparently says that he's jazzed. Like that's his thing. So he just goes into the mic. He's like, I'm jazzed as hell. Like, I'm so excited about this. And then there's like, where are we? Like, what am I doing? Oh, right. No. Our delegates for for Kamala. He got her first name right. It was like, geez, Harris. Yeah, it was a lot. Tony, governor of Wisconsin.
I missed all of this, but I did catch our boy Parker Short, the white boy.
You told me about this.
Yeah, we took
love
an Uber
him.
here.
I love him.
So for those of you who missed this, just Google Parker Short. At the Atlanta rally a week ago, he went viral. He's just like a white boy who's at this rally. And for some reason, there's just a camera on this really charismatic young kid just dancing to Drake. Or no, not to Drake. Sorry, to Kendrick.
He's gonna be so mad at you for that. He's never gonna be on the podcast. No. Now he's never gonna be on the podcast.
He's never gonna come on the podcast. I'm sorry, Parker. No, obviously you're dancing to Kendrick, not to Drake. To Not Like Us, and just going for it. Just like knew every line. It just became a fucking TikTok phenomenon of this like white boy who knew every lyric, danced, was so great. But then, little do we know that this kid is the president of the Young Democrats of Georgia. And he's so good. He like Ari,
booked on news.
He's booked on MSNBC and all these places. And he's like, you know, they put him on to be like, hey, like you're a white boy, you know all these rhymes. Like, why were you at this Democratic
Why is that surprising though anymore? You know, it's
true.
Like,
that's a very good point.
You ever been to a Kendrick concert?
Oh. Shots fired?
I'm just saying.
Is that a Drake defense?
No, obviously not. But I mean, it shouldn't be surprising to anybody.
It's just beautiful though, because he's become a star overnight, because he went on air and was asked some pretty like kind of not misleading, but like silly questions like, oh, like you're dancing, like what do you like about the Democratic Party? And he's like, oh, well, these are the reasons why I support the Democratic Party. Like, I lost my father at a very early age.
Yeah.
My family needed health care. I'm a union household. Governor Kemp in Georgia is cut Medicaid. This means this for my family. Like, so specific, so real.
Yeah, they booked him, had tiny expectations for him, and he just
everyone
came and murked
everybody. All of these like small expectations. Meanwhile, my man should have been on stage at the convention.
Right. So he's like, a convention star.
He should have, but like you don't even need
Governor of Wisconsin. There's a real suspect cameraman in working the audience who cut to Nancy Pelosi like 15 times during Joe Biden's too long speech.
That was mean. That was mean.
It was like over and over, because she's obviously blamed for him no longer being him dropping out of the race.
It's true.
It's just like quit cutting to Nancy Pelosi, like on the Jumbotron, like in the arena. It was him on stage and then her face. It was like, my guys, who was out here? Who was out here running these cameras?
It was tough. But here's the thing. We've got 2 days left. First 2 days, I would say first day, maybe a C-.
Okay. For content or for, I mean, logistically, just
everything.
D's across the board. Okay.
Just
composite score.
Composite score.
Okay.
I mean, I can go down why it's a C-, but I think it's a C-.
Okay.
And then I think day 2 is like a B.
Okay.
Overall.
Sure.
So I think logistically it was a little bit better. And I think that the Obamas elevated this in a huge way. What are we thinking about for tomorrow? Or tonight, I should say.
So tonight is the Walzes. So
yeah.
Other celebrity of the convention is, and I actually don't know her first name, Governor Walz's wife.
Yeah.
Gwen. So
thank you, Ray.
Gwen Walz has been, she's like in the box, right?
Yeah.
Like, that, and they always cut to Kamala and Doug and Tim and Gwen. And Gwen has been so animated.
Yeah, she's fired up.
The whole time.
She's
is
fired up.
Absolutely incredible. So Joe Biden's giving his speech. She's like crying. She's like, no. It seemed like she was like, don't go, Joe. And it was like, sis, like, you are here because he is, you know? I mean, she's been like pointed. I mean, she's so in it, and she's just emoting in this really spectacular way.
So your eyes are on her tonight.
My eyes are on her. Tim Walz has been very feisty. He's gotten a lot of spice.
I'm very excited about Tim's speech.
Yeah, me too.
This is going to be a good night. I feel like...
Is anyone else? Is Andy's tonight?
So yeah, my boy Andy Kim is tonight. I don't know if that's public yet, but I've known for a while.
Great.
Our boy Andy Kim. I was going to call Wednesday. It's Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
It is today. White Boy Wednesday. Because we've
Bill
got...
Clinton.
Bill. Pete.
Tim.
Oh. And then Andy.
White Boy Wednesday.
Andy's not white, but you know.
White Boy Wednesday.
We can include him in there.
It's pretty light.
Yeah. He's a Jersey boy. We're all kind of white from Jersey. We have no choice.
Not touching that.
It's not even white. It's just like Italian American. We're all like, it doesn't matter what race you are in Jersey. You're kind of just Italian American, you know, in order to survive. What should we talk through next? The polls? Should we go through the polls?
Yeah.
I feel like usually we start with the polls.
I'm still of the opinion that polls still aren't. I'm not convinced.
Yeah.
That polls matter. We're in too much of like a.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I think people are just starting to pay. Starting to pay attention.
What matters, Carrie Twigg?
I think people are just starting to pay attention.
I know, but I'm going to run through the polls. The rundown.
Right, what do we got?
The rundown is great. The rundown is good because it's all the things that if you're a Kamala person, if you're a Democrat, if you're maybe opposed to fascism, you'd be happy about the poll numbers. So in the battlegrounds, we've been saying every week, don't get too excited. Don't let the vibes go before your votes. You know what I mean? Like the memes don't vote.
Right.
We love the memes.
Right.
The memes don't vote.
Right.
Kamala Harris is up 1 in Wisconsin. Donald Trump is up 0.2 in Pennsylvania. Kamala's up 2 in Michigan, which is huge. 1 in Wisconsin, 1 in Michigan, 2 in Pennsylvania. Is that what you said?
No. Okay, great.
Carrie, you gotta come on. You gotta listen. I know we've been partying every night. All right.
I was trying to come up with a joke about Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Because of their roll call performance.
Mm-hmm.
I slid into the DMs of the Wisconsin Democratic Party's party chair to see if he wanted to come on Twigg and Jenkins and talk to us a little bit about
that's how you got to do
about their performance last night. But so I got distracted because I was trying to come up with a joke. So back to business.
I'll start from the top.
Start from the top. I'm listening.
We can cut this. Peter can cut this.
Actually,
all right.
Clip it.
Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
Kamala's up 1.
Okay.
Pennsylvania, Trump is up 0.2.
Oh.
Michigan, Kamala's up 2. Which is crazy, to be honest. Because Trump was up like 12 a month ago.
Right.
And I think it's largely because of Gaza.
Yeah.
And I think the community in Michigan was not down with that shit. And so the fact that Kamala's up 2 now is crazy. All right. Arizona, Trump is up 0.2.
0.2 in Arizona.
0.2 in Arizona.
Sunbelt making moves.
Practically a tie. Trump is up 1.4 in Nevada. Trump is up 1.2 in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And Trump is up 1 in Georgia.
Soft.
Very soft. So again, like to your point, these polls, you're right. It doesn't really mean anything, but it means everything because it means we can win all of these fucking states.
Right.
We only needed to win 3 of these states.
Right.
Like if we won Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and we lost the rest of those states, we win. We're within striking distance of every fucking battleground state right now.
That's wild.
Which is wild. How do we, knowing everything I just said about the convention and how I'm giving it kind of like middling grades, how are you feeling about the momentum for tonight, tomorrow, and just how do we keep this going in this direction? You know? Like, because I don't think we're going to get a huge convention bump, not to be mean. I don't think people watched. The first night was the lowest convention ratings in like 20 years or something.
Wow.
The ratings were bad. I think the ratings were bad because it was very poorly programmed. Everyone went over. Biden wasn't even primetime. Like, how do you not have your primetime person primetime?
That was a disaster.
So whoever produced the convention, maybe don't have them produce the convention next time. Like, you have one job.
Apparently, the guy.
You have one job. Do your job. Sorry.
We'll produce it.
Yeah, Twigg and I are going to produce.
Sounds like hell.
Here we go. We're going to make so many friends with this podcast episode. No, but it's like, just do your job.
No, it wasn't a good. They didn't nail it.
No, not even didn't nail it. Like
6 out of 10.
Full fuck up. So we're not going to get like a huge convention bounce, I don't think.
No. I mean, her speech is sort of the only one that matters anyway. In the kind of broader coverage.
But do we remember Barack Obama's speech in Denver? We don't really remember that speech.
I was there. Who was I sitting next to? I was sitting next to a congressman, I think a congressman from Michigan, if I'm remembering this right. And he fell asleep.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It was like next to a snoring congressman. It was just like, this is ridiculous.
People remember breakout stars from conventions. People don't remember the actual, I'm accepting the nomination speech. I think Kamala is going to be great. I'm not trying to because someone did text me and they're kind of like, whatever. Because I said, I think Biden's speech is going to be the moment that people are going to remember instead of Kamala. And I meant that not in any disrespect to Kamala. I just know how these conventions go. Like, her speech is going to be great, but I don't think anyone's going to remember it.
I think the only thing that's different, that's the work of the speechwriter, right? True. It's like, is the speech actually memorable? Does it cut through? Because it's not even just about how many people watch it in the moment. It's about, is it a good enough speech and compelling enough and interesting enough that people will want to actually rewatch it, right? And it will endure kind of in a rhetorical way. But I think the only thing that makes it slightly different is because she is still so new.
True.
I mean, I think it's really easy for us to overestimate how much attention people have been paying.
Yeah.
And how much they know her or they feel like they do. And I think that many people don't.
Good point.
And it is a big speech in terms of her introducing herself as the official nominee to the country with 80 days left. I mean, it's
a very good point.
That is, I think, why it's going to be the only part that really matters. In so many ways, conventions are about just kind of keeping the infrastructure that underpins all of the Democratic kind of party's machinery, keeping that greased.
Yeah.
That's the convention. The best parts of the convention that I'm having are just running into people.
Yeah.
And so many people that I'm now, my co-founders at Culture House, they're here and they didn't know me in politics, right? So they're meeting all these people for the first time that I would have worked for 20 years ago.
Right.
And I'm telling them these stories and I'm just like, wait, what? The guy, so the Mitt Romney 47% video.
Yeah.
Me and Tim Waters did that, right? The Steelworkers did that. And I was the third person alive to see that video.
Amazing.
And it was me and Tim were trying to convince the campaign that we should use it for an ad, and the campaign didn't want to do it. And so I was trying to I was having to do this whole thing, and in it there's this whole other section to it where he's talking about how organized sweatshops are. It's crazy, but I've never told them that, right?
Yeah.
So my business partner wait, what?
It has been, I will say.
That's what's fun.
I will say, being with Carrie Twigg in the hall, it's impossible to get anywhere with you because we can't get 3 steps until someone else comes up to you and hugs you. And then there are some people who are hugging me, but they just wanted to get to you. Do you know what I mean? I was just a proxy to get to you. But no, you're right.
This is my world for so long,
It's true.
And so that part is real. I'm having so much fun at that part.
Oh man, see, Twig, you're so good. I'm taking back everything I said. I'm just gonna take back everything I said. Because you're right. No one knows who Kamala Harris is. They don't know her.
Right.
She's going to get...
No one. You've swung too far.
Not a single person in America
ever
has heard of this lady, Kamala Harris. No, but you're right. That the ratings don't mean shit. These first couple days don't mean shit. All that matters right now is tonight's Tim, tomorrow's Kamala. And... even these creators. So the fun part is Twig and I are credentialed creators, which means we are, I don't know what we are, Twig.
We're very famous on the internet.
We're very famous on the internet. There are dozens of people.
Literally.
Dozens that listen to us. And so they gave us these credentials and we're around all these youths, not to sound like an old person.
The youth dem.
There's so many youths. And so many of them keep pronouncing her name wrong. Even these creators don't even know who she is. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
someone was in our comments guys,
say her name right. So that's the piece here, which is exciting, is I think you're right. I'm going to stop being, what's it called? A hater. Stop player. Player hating the Democratic convention. Tonight's going to be great. Tomorrow's going to be great. What are you? Have you been watching what the other side has been saying about?
No, obviously not.
Really, nothing.
No, because that's what I have you for.
That's my job.
Yeah, you do it. You do it of your own volition. So why would I subject myself to that when I know? And then you can tell me, and it'll be like a surprise, and I'll get like a nice little succinct rundown of what's happening. I mean, when you send me links of things that are happening, like live streams, I'll then watch them.
You'll watch it. Speaking of a live stream, so Theo Von, do we know Theo Von?
I do know Theo Von.
Great comedian. Do you like Theo?
Yeah, he's really funny.
He's very funny.
Yeah. I mean, you know, my sense of humor was formed in large part by my older brother. So I like, sort of have like a 14-year-old white boy's sense of humor, as we know.
That's Theo Von's target demographic.
Exactly. So he works for me.
He works for me. So Theo had Donald Trump, former president, on his stream yesterday. Or not a stream, his podcast. 4 million people have watched it in the past, like, 10 hours.
Did you watch the whole thing?
I watched, well, I'll be real, I didn't watch it. I had it on while I was showering this morning and getting ready. It was incredible to me for a couple of different reasons. One, speaking of Dana White, we talked about the Republican convention was so well produced. It was perfectly produced.
Yeah, Dana White, CEO of WWE.
Dana is very close with Trump. Dana set up this interview with Theo. Right. Dana, I'm sure, is just going down the line of like, who are the communicators for Trump?
Yeah.
And how do we reach as many men?
Yeah.
Honestly, we said it before. They're running the score up with men.
Yeah.
Particularly white men, but also Black and Asian, all the men as possible. And I was like doing the math in my head. I'm like, all right, Trump went on Theo's pod. It's like an hour-long interview. It was so awkward. It was like not a great interview, to be totally honest.
Who do you blame?
Theo was trying his best, but like he doesn't know how to like interview. I mean, it's also Donald Trump too, so it's like you just kind of gotta let him cook. Like, what are you gonna?
Yeah,
you can't steer him in any one direction.
Sure.
But I can guarantee you more young people watched that stream than watched the convention last night. And think about the tens of millions of dollars, more than that. Maybe, are we like $100 million?
Oh, probably.
Think about all of the sponsorships, the parties, the events, the programming, the credentials, the sponsorships, right?
Yeah, easily.
Donald Trump going on Theo Von's podcast actually reached more young people than all the hullabaloo yesterday.
Right. And we've not been saying this for weeks, right? Because this is the tour that he's on.
So smart. Yeah. It's really, really smart.
Yeah.
And he's going to keep doing it.
Absolutely.
And the polls, yes, the polls are looking great. It's going in our direction, but it's going to hit a ceiling. It's going to start to settle, I think. And we're going to have to figure out a way to come up with more couch fucker jokes about JD Vance. Like, we're going to need to come up with...
There's no struggling. I mean, just like, what a soft, chubby target, you know? I shouldn't body shame him.
Don't body shame. How are we feeling about your boy, JD?
I mean, stasis.
I haven't seen any new updates. You're like JD Vance watch. I am right wing watch.
Right. I actually, haven't been paying him much attention, but you know, he's probably off being a weirdo in a corner somewhere. But wait a second. So this, before we leave the dregs of the right-wing media establishment, this also brings up, though, whether or not our girl is going to do a press hit. Like, who is she going to do her big interview with? How is it coming? Are you getting her booked on Hassan Piker? Like, what are you...
Yeah, well, yes. The short answer is yes. Also, so Hassan is one of these creators with us, and we've seen him. I've seen him from afar, but I'm such a nerd. I've like not gone up to him and been like, hey, man, you know, what's up? But our podcast, I'm not going to like directly say it's our doing, but we clipped out. I'm not going to take full credit for this.
Just do it. Why not?
But we clipped out a thing, and I sent it to Hassan's manager, and we put it on our Instagram. And then literally the next day, Hassan's on his stream was kind of like, the Obama team got in touch with me. So I think Barack's going to go on his stream.
Oh, I think that is your doing.
I mean, who knows? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure
the timing is very.
I'm sure Schulte and Crystal are watching our Instagram. Of course,
they're one of the
dozens of people that watch. But speaking of the party scene, because I think that that's the other thing we have to update our viewers on. Because I feel like last week we were telling people what the convention party scene was like. We're 2 days in.
Yeah. Our party's to me been the best party because it wasn't dry.
It's true.
I mean, fun. We've got to start throwing better parties. Like you're trying to, save the Republic via media. Just like, I just want us to have better parties.
It's true. Our party, well, look, late night parties are in and of themselves challenging because everyone's leaving that hall and it takes so long to leave the hall. And by the time you leave the hall, it's already midnight. You just want to go home and go to sleep. So I got a lot of texts from friends, celebrities. People were just like, sorry, bro. Like, I was so tired.
But even when you go to the party.
Yeah.
Our party was fun.
Yeah.
But I've been to a handful of parties, obviously, over the course of the last couple of days. And I'm reminded
of what a normal party is like.
Yeah. Of like, oh, we don't do this very well.
It's true. Wait, so what are you don't have to name names of parties, but like highlights and lowlights. You can the party we just went to was incredible, right?
Your wife's party. Your wife threw a great party. It was very classy.
Oh my God.
It was so much classier than our party.
It was so classy.
Lobster.
There was lobster. There was oysters. There was a Bloody Mary bar.
Yeah.
There was Nancy Pelosi just hanging out. Eric Holder, Spike Lee. Like, we're all just hanging out, eating oysters together. It's like, this is the way parties should be. We're like on the river.
Yeah, Chicago was great.
Incredible. And actually, while I was there, I was thinking like, this is what a Republican party is like. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, they nailed it. Very highbrow.
So good. So that's other than our party, that's my number one. What other parties have you been to?
My favorite thing, I've been to a bunch of parties. My favorite thing is seeing people that I haven't seen in years and seeing like who's had a really good post White House, like who got hotter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like rested and tan, drinking water, and they're like, life is not some absurd roller coaster based on whether or not you won the news cycle.
You're describing like a high school reunion. Like,
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well, the convention has that feel. It has like a reunion like feel. And so there was a Biden alum party that I went to, and I saw some people and I was like, you nailed it. Like, you've really nailed your post White House years because you look fantastic.
Wait, tell the viewers, that was probably the most exclusive party there was this week, the Biden alumni, because you had to have worked for Joe.
But I mean, there were a lot of people there. A lot of people have worked for him.
No, I know, but most of them are dead.
Oh my God, Brad.
Clip that. We'll clip that. We're going to clip that one. No, I just mean he's been around for a while. You know what I mean? He's been around for a while. But what were the vibes? What were the vibes of that party?
Bro.
What were the vibes of the Biden party?
Bro.
Sorry.
Oh my God.
Where was it?
It was at the old post office where the Funny or Die party is tonight.
The Funny or Die party tonight.
Did you send that email, by the way? We had a couple editions.
Yeah.
We'll do it later. Okay. Yeah. So there were some people at that party that that aged
they look great.
Very well. Yeah. And
did Joe go?
He did not, because he was 2 hours. He spoke 2 hours late. So the whole thing was that he was going to come. We were all going to see him.
Walk us
through. But he didn't get off the stage until 12:30 or something insane.
Let's just go through it, because I was kind of mean in the beginning about Joe's speech. But like, can we talk through? I love Joe Biden. I think he had beautiful moments in the speech. Why was his speech so long?
I don't know.
And who's a speechwriter? Who's doing this convention program? And who can just say, Joe, we love you, bro.
But bro, what are they going to do? Start playing music? Someone going to come out and like pull the sitting president?
You think he was just going extemporaneously? You think he was just going?
I don't think it was extemporaneous.
Okay.
Maybe a couple flourishes. But I don't think it was. I think it was loaded into the prompter, and like that was his speech.
And no one was like, "This is too long."
I don't think you can tell him that. It's like, what are you going to be like? It's your last. This whole week should have been for you, and was this whole week. That was supposed to be the speech that was given on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Like making his case for what he's accomplished in his first term.
Yeah.
And so I think they didn't write a new speech.
Yeah.
They just used that speech for Monday. But I think he would have been better served had they, and I actually know the speechwriter, great Ohioan.
Yeah.
Vivek's
I
amazing.
almost want to do a version. I was thinking about this as like,
but also having briefed him, sorry to cut you off.
No, go.
But like having briefed him, having done speech prep with him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they would have been able to get him to trim it. There's so many things I think he wanted to say, and I think it was his moment. He gets to say whatever he wants. And he wanted to go through the laundry list of accomplishments.
It's his legacy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wish he'd been able to be convinced that that was not necessary.
No, wasn't.
Because I think a much more sort of poetic call to the soul of the country, which he did a little bit of, but if he had done like tight 20 minutes, 30 minutes,
good at that.
So good at that.
That's the best part of Joe Biden.
I know.
When he is earnest and he gets kind of emotional and he talks about his family and who he is and what he stands for and respect and dignity, and we just got a laundry list of like random shit, which is important. And
he did some of those heart forward parts, but they just got lost amongst all the other stuff. Like Dr. B was amazing.
She was great. She looked
Ashley
great.
Looked fantastic.
Dr.
That dress
B
looked
great.
Runner, you know.
I mean, that dress was like in the hall, like shimmering.
Yeah, she looked incredible.
She looked so good.
Ashley's introduction of him was beautiful.
Yes.
Bawling. It was bawling.
So good.
Yeah.
It was really good. I don't mean to take away from Joe. We need like a supercut of that speech. Like we just need someone to go through and edit it down. And it's actually it's actually a really good speech. I would say that about most people. Like that would be a good exercise for Culture House and franchising to do. If we just had to edit everyone's speech down to like 3 minutes, and then just like for the first 2 nights into like 20 minutes of like the top speakers, it's a beautiful program.
Yeah.
And I think that there's never been a person in history who was like, I love that speech. I wanted more of the speech.
Yeah.
And let's just do better, guys, next time. We have another 4 years. We'll
to get our act together.
We'll figure this out in the next 4 years.
What else is on our outline? We prepped. We did so much prep.
We hit it all.
Your phone off?
Look at the segue we did. We hit everything. We did vibes, the Obamas, roll call, Parker, rundown of the polls. Oh, we didn't do credentials, really.
Well, I think I included that in my rant earlier.
Right. Party recaps, Trump watch, JD. We did it all.
There's a little bit of gossip.
This is when you know This is when you know you're doing a really great podcast, when the co-host
reads, like, what else are we going to talk about?
Reads the rundown from his phone. Did we hit everything? It's when you know we're cooking with gas. You know what I mean?
It's like,
you know, we're
for once we prep, but we're both so run down, we're both so dehydrated. Guys, we're working and tired.
Off of 3 hours of sleep. Directly from
doesn't even matter. We should have just let it rip. We should have just walked in and been like, what have you been doing the past couple days?
Wait, what hot goss were you wanting to say?
All the hookups from our party.
Oh, yeah. This is when you know you have a good party.
Yeah, we're not going to name names.
There's multiple hookups. And like, we're old people. We're not old people. We're just like, we're grown-ass men and women.
Yeah,
I'm not going to stop saying old.
Yeah.
You take great offense to that.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
You didn't like it the last time I said it. We're grown-ass men and women.
I took much more offense to, it has nothing to do with the age. You're just like, we used to be cool. Now we're old. And it was just like, time out. I'm still cool.
We're still cool. No, but I feel like when you know,
I mean, you're not wearing socks.
I'm not wearing socks. I look like I'm an extra from Miami Vice. It's the vibe I'm going for. But last night we had this amazing party. Everyone,
thank you for coming, everybody.
Thank you for everyone for coming. Everyone that came was like a friend of ours. So like everyone really who came, we knew personally, and everyone loved each other. And we had members of Congress who we're friends with. We had people who run government agencies who we're friends with. The vibes were immaculate. And then
some really good dancers.
Really great dancers.
Some surprises.
That won't be named. But this is when you know it's a good party, when there are hookups, and there were multiple hookups.
Yeah, I know. I got a couple fun texts this morning.
That's when you know.
You know,
the vibes are
had
great.
to ask a couple people on their way out, like, drop a pin. you guys
just
safe? Yeah.
I'm safe. But no, thank you guys for coming to the party. We have more parties to go to. I think we're going to record tomorrow.
Special guest.
And I think tomorrow we'll be able to we should do a rundown of like, here were the best parties and here were the best speakers. Because it'll be like at the end.
I'll be interested in the speakers. I mean, is it fun to hear about people's parties?
Is it fun? I don't know. Yeah. I'm looking at the camera like Jim from The Office.
Do you think the ratings are going to go up? Do you think it matters?
I think
How bad were they?
Not great. Remember? Not great. I think the previous benchmark was 2016 ratings.
Oh, but they did it in Milwaukee. Was pretty good. They had that like Zoom convention thing. No, okay.
I don't think anyone really watched that.
I don't really remember if I did.
But it was better than this one. Is my point. That one was better than this
More
one.
People watched the
More
Zoom
people watched the shitty Zoom one than this one. No, I think.
You're saying 2016 was the lowest watched one?
Yeah.
Copy up to speed.
Yeah. Like it's been a while. It's been, these ratings weren't great. It's okay. I think what you're saying is right. All that matters is Kamala Knight.
Yeah. What do you think she's going to talk about?
I want her to be brief. Note to the speechwriters. Barack Obama, here, I'm going to look at the camera. Clip this. Barack Obama gave the greatest, not just convention speech, political speech in American history. It's 14 minutes long. It's so fucking good. Just do that again. Just keep it short.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't need to be 14 minutes.
That's maybe a touch short. He was a state senator.
He was running for U.S. Senate.
Not speaking in prime time.
But that's what made it so good.
Yeah.
There was a beginning, there was a middle, there was an end. And it literally captivated America. Like, he told a story. And I think that there's not been a single speech. Even the Obama speeches were great, but I haven't seen or heard a story. And I want Kamala to tell her story.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Michelle got the closest.
Michelle got the closest, but Michelle had an axe to grind. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, she had some like scores to settle. So it was like, it was great. It was great. I think Kamala, when she goes into this, she needs to tell her story. She needs to tell her story. This is her fucking story, as you said. People don't know her story. And I can't wait for it. It's going to be great. It's going to be great television. And I do agree with you. I think that we take that for granted that no one really knows her yet.
Wild swings. I said we overestimate how well known she is. I've never
no one knows her.
No one knows her.
I'm like, this convention sucked. It's going to be amazing.
I take back everything I said.
Take back everything I just said for the past 53 minutes. This convention is fucking incredible. Look.
All right, cut it. Cut the show.
No. We're not cutting the show. We're going to post this as soon as we can. I don't know how quickly we can get it up.
My
That's
dad's
what she
clamoring.
Said. But we're gonna post it as soon as we can. Tomorrow we're recording. Should we say our special guest tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're recording with the Pulitzer Prize winning Jose Antonio Vargas, cover of Time magazine. Jose Antonio Vargas. Jose, who has big news coming out that I think he's gonna be able to kind of break on our podcast. It's amazing,
bro.
So amazing. Jose is also a mentor and a friend and an ally. And he was at the party. He danced for a little bit.
Yeah, he was great at the party. He was ripping it up.
Follow us on our socials. We've been doing some lives. I did a live this morning with Nancy Pelosi. I mean, I wasn't. It wasn't me and Nancy. It was just me filming her. It was me and Nancy. And then we did a live when we were trying to get our credentials. So if you want to get more into those shenanigans, you could follow us. And then I think that's it. What do we?
And if you're from Wisconsin,
yeah,
and you want to come on Twigg and Jenkins and talk about the roll call,
and Parker,
reply to my DMs.
Our boy Parker.
Have you DM'd Parker yet?
No, but I got it. I'm gonna get in his DMs. But no, we're here. How many days left are there? I think that's the other thing we should do with every pod. I think there's like 79 days left. Right?
Yeah. Do we know?
I don't think we know.
No one knows.
No one knows how many days there are left.
I put my phone on airplane mode.
11 weeks. So 77 days left. When we post the thing, like, tell us in the comments, like, who do you
76 days.
76 days left. Tell us who you want us to, like, talk to. Who would get you fired up to, like, not just vote, but as Michelle said.
That we can book.
That we can book. I love Carrie's, like, but who we can actually get to.
Like, they have to kind of be a friend of ours that we can actually.
They have to be a personal friend of ours. And also, I'll leave on, like, why Michelle's speech was so good, because I think
it's a great idea.
She reminded everyone that we haven't won shit. She was really good at being like, we got to go do the work. And she did in a way that wasn't bedwetting. It wasn't like, oh, we're going to lose. It was like, hold your ears, Carrie's dad. These motherfuckers do not want us to win. They just don't.
Yeah.
And they're going to do everything they can to steal this election. Yeah. Election denialism, fascism. They're going to do everything they can. There's X number of days left. Every single person can do something. That was what I got from Michelle's speech.
Yeah.
We all can do something.
Right.
Twigg and I are doing a podcast. This is what we're doing. You know? We could be knocking on doors. We could be text banking, phone banking.
Yeah. But here we are instead.
We are braving parties and getting 2 hours of sleep so we can record with you to tell you that everyone can do something.
I will say Barack Obama making a dick-sized joke at the convention was an unexpected delight. It was a real
chef's kiss.
That's
the way we close this pod.
Unexpected delight, you know?
So good.
I was just like, this is lawless.
So good.
The Obamas are out. They're like,
we love them so much. God bless them. God bless the Twigg and Jenkins viewers.
You gotta get out of here.
There are dozens of us.
Love you, Dad.
Also, we have an audience tonight. We've got Ray. We've got Boyle. I think Ollinger's in the back.
Is he?
Somewhere? Yeah, I think he's here. But thank you. Follow us on all the socials. Share our shit. And hit us up. I think we should like create an email address.
Oh, okay.
So people can like send us things.
So you just DM us.
You want the DMs? Always. I don't want the DMs get weird sometimes.
I never get any weird DMs. Famous last words. But I
never get weird
DMs.
I get weird DMs.
I get like people be like you're pretty or whatever, but nothing weird.
Oh yeah.
Like I've never gotten an unsolicited dick pic in my life. And starting to hurt.
Do you want one?
But it just you wonder why not.
Here we go. Twigg and Jenkins. Carrie Twigg's Instagram account is at Carrie Twigg. If you
oh God, my dad's texting me. It's like he can hear us. Anyway,
you just heard it from her. She's never
I'm just
gotten
saying
one.
The internet's not been that weird of a place for me.
I think people are just intimidated / in awe of you that like sending that kind of content would be embarrassing for them. They know that here's that. They know that they're like they would send. They're like, oh, she's just gonna look at it and be like, oh. You know.
All right. Well,
but if you want to try it out
tomorrow, Pulitzer Prize winner joins Brad and Carrie.
We contain multitudes of the Twigg and Jenkins podcast. We can talk dick pics, and we can also talk to Jose Antonio Vargas. We love you guys. Look, we're closing the thing at almost exactly 1 hour.
Not going well.
We love you guys. We did this. We love you guys. Peace. Twigg and Jenkins out.